Okay, so here we have the quick release. It's mounted to a chili coke adapter. Depending on which adapter you use, you may need to find different threads of screw to use as far as length and width and how thick it needs to be. I believe I'm using, for the chili coke piece, I'm using M4.07 by 16 millimeters, or actually I think it's by 12 mil to make sure that that attaches in. So um, you slide it in, make sure that the cord's down at the bottom there, and then you lock in, and you should be all set. Um, so let's go over some of the good, bad, and the ugly as far as how this setup is. The good is that you can go ahead and swap out the steering wheels really quick. I mean, this is really nice being able to do this with the two different steering wheels, or with any steering wheel that needs that uses the Momo bolt pattern. So that's really nice. The second piece that's really nice, the second good, if you will, is that some of the solutions when you're using the cord, there's concern that you have to wrap it all the way around. So what you need to do is just let it run through its course. After it's done all of its calibration, and I would recommend you wait till you're actually in game before it's all done to actually attach it, um, because it'll do that before Windows actually starts up, is to then put it on, right before your race or something like that. And then you don't have to worry about the cord getting tangled up in here and in here. And really, because it's a formula car, you're only going from lock to lock. And so then the cord itself isn't as much of a concern. One of the things I was actually thinking about was maybe using a coiled cord, routing it underneath so then it can kind of just do its thing. But really, once it does all of its spinning and calibration, all you have to do is pop it in and you're ready to go. The second good is also the cost. This doesn't have the fancy pop type Formula One quick release. It uses a different mechanism, but for 20 bucks a pop per wheel that you want to put on, it's not a bad deal. It really isn't. And I can run a 350 or my 320 here if I wanted to. If I want to get fancy and do some other type of steering wheel mods, I can, and I can swap them out just as easy. So that's another one of the good. So now let's talk about the bad a little bit. The bad is I've actually added about 2 inches from what I'm used to. So then, normally when I drive in real life, my wrists will be around here for driving a car. Uh, I actually have to lean back for seat position. So then that way I could actually get the proper length that I'm wanting. Um, and then when I go to the other steering wheel, you actually need to change your position, and maybe you need to. Um, More of a tin top driving seating position. So that may be a good or bad depending on how you look at it. Um, but for me, that was kind of my only gripe when I first started. You do have to change your seating position. You have to go back and forward depending on which steering wheel you use. Because here, look at it, I only added an inch from where it was before. And so it's easy for me just to move back an inch and I'll be fine, and move back my pedals slightly and I'm still okay. But with the other one, I'm still looking at um, having to go a little bit further back. And I'll actually do that. And I'll have the ability to sit perfectly. Now, that to me is kind of a minor bad. It's just one of those things where it came to getting used to it. Um, and that was really the only negative I had about it. But really, from an immersion standpoint, having to adjust your seating to be more formula-ish probably isn't too bad. Um, the ugly is that there's still a little bit of play. I mean, it's not as bad as it was when I first tested the quick release. I mean, that was, if you've ever tried the old Logitech Rumble, uh, Rumble steering wheel feedback that they had for the Xbox a long time ago, where it just essentially shook the whole time. That's how it was at first. This is not too bad. This actually I did not notice while driving at all, and um, it was actually it's a minor ugly, but the benefits definitely are outweighed. I mean, the reality is it's going to move on its own, but you still have kind of the ring with a little bit of looseness, but it's minor. And when the wheel's on there, you hardly notice it. I mean, I actually don't notice it. I tried. I actually did a test session and took about a full test session to get back to my regular times that I was putting in, which was slow, but you know, so getting used to just getting, and it was really more just getting used to the wheel. As far as having the SR1 on there was great. I've got more buttons than I can use at this point that I've mapped to. The speed limiter is kind of in a bad place because I was testing and hit it while coming out of a hairpin, and that wasn't cool. But you can always remap it. So, kind of looking forward and as well as retrospect, I may look at uh, creating creating these two pieces, the adapter pieces, out of a different material like an ABS or metal, um, aluminum or something. But that would require skills beyond what I'm capable of doing, at least from a metal standpoint. But maybe doing an ABS plastic. I may also paint this flat black just to kind of keep it uniform color and not have the wood look. Um, but other than that, though, it works really well, and it's a really great quick release solution that is fairly affordable. I'm not going completely bonkers trying to make it happen. In the future as well, I'm also looking at when I am using a different steering wheel, creating a mount for a table mount for the SRW, so then I can kind of mount it and just use it as a button box. And so that way, when I'm using my tin top steering wheel, I can just use the same buttons for everything else. But overall, I'm very happy with it. I think it turned out really well. And hopefully, if you're looking for a quick release solution, you might be able to get some ideas from what we've done here. So thank you.